All right, getting into this video, man, I just want to do a breakdown on the connection between Hollywood and the government. You know, is no separation. They're the same goddamn corporation. The government, Hollywood, CIA, all intertwined. That's why I say things like don't watch shit on TV, don't trust anybody on TV. That's why I say that, because I'm trying to get you know what I'm saying, to embrace your own power and stop giving it away to people that's been placed there to mislead you. They put people there to speak for you, to represent you, and we fall for this. Nobody on this fucking TV is representing us. That's what we fail to realize. So, I don't give a fuck what celebrity you talking about. They're in on it. Period. I don't care what skin color, what religion, and that's how you people get pulled in. Because you want to be anchored by what color you is and what religion. So that keeps you anchored with this storyline that these people are pushing out, because you identify yourself with their background and their beliefs. So I'm going to get into this video. It's a lot of idol worshipers out here. It's a hell of a lot. That's why I don't even talk to nobody no more, because it's all about what these celebrities can do, how powerful they are, what they're doing. Nobody is praising the creator, though. Nobody is looking at what they're doing, looking at the blessings that, as far, okay, they give back to communities, yada, 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 yada. They can sing good. Those are gifts from the creator. You see what I'm saying? We need to look at the creator, not these damn celebrities. All this, Beyonce, Jay-Z, they're so powerful. How the fuck is they powerful when money don't even fucking exist? It's an illusion. It's a piece of paper. They're about to turn it into a cashless society. So what the fuck is paper? It's all an illusion. It's numbers. It's your power. They created a physical form of your energy, which is money, and you give it away. And as long as they have it, they control you. So that's my point. I want us to get the power back as a people and understand we control our lives, not what we see on these TV. We have to tune in to what's real. It ain't shit you see on the screen is real. So let's get into this, man. I don't give a fuck if they telling the truth. Don't trust these motherfuckers. That's anybody I come in contact with or anything I read. I take the good out and I discard the rest. They gonna tell you half truths. That's how they play off your emotions, because you think they sincere. But I'm gonna show y'all. Let's get into this video.
There's always more to the story. You hear about some marriage breaking up and the husband did this.
Let's take it all the way back.
It didn't take me very long to figure out that so much of what is going on, humans are not being told. We are not being told the real truth. And I've got a couple of things in particular I want you to know and I want you to remember. Nothing in this world, nothing works the way you think it does. There's always more to the story. You hear about some marriage breaking up and the husband did this, the wife did that, and it's very obvious what happened. No, it's not obvious what happened. There's a lot more to the story you don't know.
Okay, and what he's basically speaking on is all these people that want to get out there and, jump on these news media outlet stories and believe these celebrities when they saying they're going through drama and they're coming out with camera scenes where they're going off. You people don't understand. You don't get it. These people are fucking playing with your emotions. It's all a damn game. It's a game. Because for one, you don't know these damn celebrities. You don't know your damn woman that's been cheating on your ass. You don't know your man that's been cheating on you. You can't even figure them out. So how in the hell we watch these shows and these celebrity articles and think we got it figured out? Everybody want to give an opinion. And that's how they trigger you. They trigger you to give an opinion about something you don't even know shit about. That's why I don't talk to people. Because people talk about things that they don't know about. And people they don't know about. And it's insane. It's insane that you know about 15 celebrities' lifestyles. You know what's going on in 15 different celebrities' households. But you can't even figure your own household out. All that energy you giving into all these other people, you're not giving it into your own life or your own child's life. Your child's life is fucked because gossip is the only thing that matters. Let's go back. Let's get back into it.
You don't know her background, her past. You don't know his past. You don't know what was going on in the family. You have no idea. So nothing is simple. This is why you have courts. So I found that nothing in this world operates the way you think it does.
Nothing.
Banks do not loan money.
What money?
Governments are not empowered to protect you. Police department is not there to serve you.
Okay, with the police department, you see how many people are getting killed and nothing is happening. That's because we don't understand the foundation of how things were built. We don't understand that. That's why they can kill people and get away from it, because it's legal to do these things. They can actually do this. But we'll never know. We'll just think, oh, it's just a crooked system. This system wasn't even built or designed to protect us in the first place. But some people will never figure that out. Let's proceed, though.
Institutions of higher learning, colleges and educational institutes are not there to educate you.
Okay. And even with that, what are you learning? People on this high horse, but behind these degrees they getting. Like, what are you learning? You're not learning anything. Another piece of paper that gives you status. Another piece of paper. Ain't that something? To make you feel almighty. It's crazy. And it's ironic why a lot of people can't decipher things that's going on around them. And that's why a lot of people that are indoctrinated believe that it's conspiracy theorists. That's because they don't have education outside of an indoctrinated school system, college. People don't have a desire to learn. We're so dumbed down. And now we have the tools to learn anything we want. We're so dumbed down. You know, it's not appealing to us. But let's get back into it.
The entire superstructure of civilization in the Western world is a combination of brilliantly put together and well-planned schemes to direct the minds of the people in such a way as to serve their masters.
Yep.
And I've known that for a long time. And one of the biggest tools in the hands of the masters who run this world is Hollywood. Hollywood is an incredible story. I've said this, and maybe many hearing me now have heard me say this, but I'll say it again, that the white man's establishment comes from Europe. And in northern, southern, well, all four, northeast, south, and western Europe, even at the time of the Roman Empire and before, that whole section of Europe that we call the center for the white man's presence on the earth was quite literally ruled over. Ancient Europe was ruled over by a priesthood called the Druids. And the Druids they were the ministers, the priests, the judges, the lawyers.
Mm-hmm.
They were the religious leaders. So
Yep.
There was a priesthood that dominated Europe.
Really?
It still does.
Oh, wow.
Europe is still a Druidic country. And America
Really?
is a Druidic country. Unless you understand the Druidic system, then you're never going to figure out what's going on in America and England.
Wow.
But one of the most important symbols in the Druid system was a magic wand, like Merlin, the magician with the magic wand, and also the orchestra leaders and conductors always have a magic wand, and you had better play to the tune of the master. He directs you to play, and he directs you to stop with the magic wand. So you're dancing to his music, okay? Magic wands were always made out of the wood of a holly tree. It's made out of Hollywood. And Hollywood is a Druidic establishment. And the symbols, the word...
And this is another thing. Anything that you endeavor in, getting in depth with, you know what I'm saying? You want to do research on it. A lot of people just run with things right now. Usher could come out with something, and people just gonna believe it's what he's saying it is. If you do the origin and research on some of these things, you can see these people have scripts, and they're just following a script that's been wrote hundreds of years before they even got in the position they're in. So question everything. A lot of these agendas just have new faces on it, and that's real.
The terms, the stories are designed. Think about it. Think about how Hollywood does what they do. I'm not saying they're evil. I'm just explaining how Hollywood works.
Yeah, and they're not evil,
You
huh?
have, first of all, a story. So somebody has to write the story. All right? So now you've got a story. Now you have to give it to a screenwriter who's going to adapt that story, adapt that story into a screenplay. Because you can't just tell the story. You have to design it to be a movie. Now, once you do that, then...
And they're telling you, he's basically telling you the secret of how they give us leaders. They give us staged events to later create movies and things. They present the story, the public runs with it, and then they give in to the public's demand of this story, or, you know what I mean, a situation, and boom, all your time and energy is gone. It ain't got shit to do with money. It's about your damn energy. These people don't give a fuck about no damn money. They want power and control. They work for power and control. We work for money. You feel me? Cashless society. Let's get it.
You're going to have the actors, very important actors, because you're going to need people to act the part. And so it doesn't mean that they actually have human feelings. No, they're being paid to act like they care, to act like they love someone too. It's an act. And so you're paying actors to act out the part that the screenwriters have written, and you want to make sure the actors do it just right. So you have to have a director, and he's going to direct everything you say and do the way he wants it said. Then you have, of course, the producer, and he's also subjected to the executive producer who's producing the money. And so all of this is a whole system of putting together a system of a story.
A system.
That tells you a story. It causes you to think in terms of what you just saw. So that people go out from the movie and think in their minds, this is the way you normally would react to a situation, the way that the guy in the movie did. And so that's why today, in the Western civilization, especially in the West, our ability to work with each other and live together as humans is so screwed up. Because we've been watching so much television and so many movies and so much silliness coming out of Hollywood, so much violence and sex and drugs and all the rest of it, that people have no idea in the world how to live anymore. They've lost their humanity.
Okay, so you're saying that in many ways Hollywood movies and television are actually sort of doing behavior modification.
Precisely.
Keep pumping this in your head. Non-stop. Non-stop. Money. Party. Are you entertained?
Most of humanity is in an absolute hypnotic trance that is they're put in from cradle to grave by constant repetition of a fake reality. And when we wake up from this, then we will not be subservient
line is that the government is getting what they have ordered. They do not want your children to be educated. They do not want you to think too much. That is why our country and our world has become so proliferated with entertainments, mass media, television shows, amusement parks, drugs, alcohol, and every kind of entertainment to keep the human mind entertained so that you don't get in the way of important people by doing too much thinking.
Don't think.
Wake up and understand that there are people who are guiding your life and you don't even know it.
Television is the most powerful weapon of psychological warfare in history. The programming that we are constantly assaulted by throughout our life positions us, it programs us to a particular worldview. Now, we may consider it normal because we were born into the system of lies and deception. And because we were born into the situation and our parents were born into it and have suffered from it, we don't know any better. What I may call the message is a brave new word, but it is possible to make people contented with their servitude. I think this can be done. I think it has been done in the past, but I think it could be done even more effectively now because you can provide them with bread and circuses and you can provide them with endless amounts of distractions and propaganda.
But there's a reason. There's a reason. There's a reason for this. There's a reason education sucks. There's the same reason that it will never, ever, ever be fixed. It's never going to get any better. Don't look for it. Be happy with what you got. Because the owners of this country don't want that. They don't want a population of citizens capable of critical thinking. They don't want well-informed, well-educated people capable of critical thinking. They're not interested in that.
We know things are bad, worse than bad. They're crazy. It's like everything everywhere is going crazy, so we don't go out anymore. We sit in the house, and slowly the world we're living in is getting smaller, and all we say is, please, at least leave us alone in our living rooms. Let me have my toaster and my TV and my steel-belted radios, and I won't say anything. Just leave us alone. Well, I'm not going to leave you alone. I want you to get mad. I want you to get up now. I want all of you to get up out of your chairs. I want you to get up right now and go to the window, open it, and stick your head out and yell, I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore.
All right, now I'm gonna shed some light on how they promote this propaganda in the movies. Government and Hollywood together. In bed. You see it. Let's go.
It's a behind-the-scenes look that's been deceiving the public for decades. RT's Natasha Sweet shows us how Hollywood has been in the business of promoting war in the United States. Thousands of newly obtained documents are shedding light on the fact that Hollywood isn't exactly what it appears to be. Some 4,000 pages reveal the entertainment capital of the U.S. has been working hand in hand with the Department of Defense, shaping the message of thousands of movies and shows. This even includes contracts between the producers and the Department of Defense.
Yes, I have thought an awful lot about blowing up the White House.
Reading the script.
Further than Madonna saying she wants to blow up the White House, or actors
Mandana.
like Deborah Messing and George Clooney openly discussing their opposition for President Trump. There's no question the majority of Hollywood is known for their left-leaning political views. But now 4,000 pages of new documents obtained by watchdog group Insurge Intelligence reveals the U.S. government has worked behind more than 800 major movies and 1,000 TV shows.
Yep.
And Insurge Intelligence's new book, National Security Cinema, shares how U.S. government involvement also includes script rewrites and some of the biggest, most popular films, including James Bond and the Transformers franchise. The documents reveal the Pentagon has the power to stop a film from being made by withdrawing support. When a producer approaches the Pentagon for assistance in making their film, they must submit their script to the entertainment liaison offices for approval. Phil Strub, the Department of Defense's chief Hollywood liaison, ultimately has the final say.
Before we go into perhaps weightier policy issues of the day, I wanted to just clear a logistical thing. And that, I'm wondering if you can give us any more detail at all about this meeting that the Secretary had out in Hollywood with these film studio executives. He, in his tweet, said that he was there hearing perspectives and ideas on how to counter the Dash narrative. And I'm just wondering if you can be more specific about, I mean, was he asking their advice on how to do this, or was he suggesting things? I mean, is he looking for the next Wolverine movie to be Wolverine versus ISIS?
Kidding aside, I mean, no, of course. I mean, look, he had the chance to meet with a number of senior executives in the entertainment industry. I mean, these are the people, I think, widely recognized who are some of the best communicators out there, and they run a highly.
You gotta pay attention to how he's dancing around these answers. It's funny.
Who are some of the best communicators out there.
That's what he said.
Had the chance to meet with a number of senior executives in the entertainment
Senior
industry.
executives in
I mean, these
entertainment.
are the people, I think, widely recognized who are some of the best communicators out there.
Communicators.
And they
I
run
can
a
only
highly
imagine.
profitable industry that is expert at conveying messages to a worldwide audience. So I think he sought their perspectives and input about how the United States and the rest of the coalition, the anti-Daesh coalition, can better counter the propaganda that's being put forward by ISIL.
And if you can't understand that, you'll never get it. You'll never get it. That right there is telling you all these messages that they're putting out there, these messages are all about programming. That's what they're telling you. You know, but meetings like these don't really get that much press. And people don't look at stuff like this anyway. Why? Why are we gonna do that? When they got all these reality shows and mixtapes coming out. Let's go ahead.
I mean, a lot of it was a discussion, and a give and take on what they think works and what doesn't work. And I don't want to get into the details because it was just an introductory meeting. But I think it's, I think the Secretary felt it was worthwhile to have the opportunity to meet with these folks and get their input on what they think is an effective strategy.
So he was soliciting them on ideas about how to counter their messaging, not the other way around. He wasn't saying, hey, listen, we think it would be a great idea if you guys did X, X, and X.
No, I think he was seeking their perspectives on our own efforts to counter Daesh and ISIL in terms of messaging.
But you're not planning on outsourcing the whole CVE message to Hollywood film studios, are you?
No, but I think it's important that they're part of this conversation. I mean, they have more so than diplomats and even public diplomacy professionals like myself. I freely admit that folks in Hollywood and Silicon Valley and who are really
thinking hard,
experts in
think about it.
Conveying messages, whether it's through film or through entertainment.
Okay, there we go.
Are worthwhile to listen to and to get.
Dancing.
We should be seeking their advice on how we can do our job better.
Dancing.
Can you cite an example where actually Hollywood and the government were able to, sort of coordinate together to have a powerful message or film done? I mean, in the past, is there anything?
World War II.
World War II. Okay.
John Huston
Since World War
But no, that's okay.
Since World War II.
Yeah.
During the Vietnam War, there was the Green Beret, for instance.
Right.
Or Top Gun or something. Top Gun.
Yeah.
I mean, this is.
Can we move on to something a little bit more?
Yeah, I mean, I have more meetings with these people. Again, I don't want to say that yesterday they were inking deals on movies that will come out. All he was doing was he was taking advantage of the fact that he was there just outside of Hollywood in L.A., where the movie industry exists, He wanted to seek their input on how we can message better.
Right.
I mean, these guys, as I said, are
You
professionals.
did say it was an introductory meeting.
It's an introductory
So
meeting, exactly.
are there?
I have nothing to announce, but I think it was a first meeting. I think
So there will be a
we
sequel.
would like to see more.
I'll give
you that. Yeah.
Shall we go to China?
Yes.
So you can take away from that whatever you like. But the fact is, this only came out on February 17th, 2016, likely because it got leaked that the Secretary of State was meeting with Hollywood executives. Probably this was going on well before that. In fact, I can show you proof it has been going on for years. The reason for this is because there's the U.S. Advisory Commission on Public Diplomacy. And in this commission are Hollywood executives. What do these people do? They help control the narrative for Voice of America. Voice of America is the United States news/propaganda outlet run by the State Department. See how that's all neatly tied in? Secretary of State is generally always on the board of Voice of America. I'm making this very simple because there's actually another entity that runs Voice of America, but it's a technicality. So, just so we're clear, Secretary of State has ties to Voice of America. Voice of America puts out propaganda and news. They can also very likely put out pre-packaged parts of news. It's not a far cry to say that they may be working with somebody like, I don't know, CNN. Let's take a look. Maybe CNN is even mentioned in some of these meetings. You know, you never know. Now, look at that. Sure enough, CNN is mentioned in these meetings. Now, you can go back and look. This has been going on for years, not just 2016, all the way back to 2004,
Years.
maybe, somewhere in there, and likely well before that. I only did a brief search because I was just looking for CNN.
Years to people feel closer to people who they may have never met by virtue of seeing a story about someone they don't know, but has aspects
That's
of
why
their
they give you
life
these
that
ghetto
matches
hood rats.
the life they live. The technology of film,
All these hood
television
people.
is just another way
Or slow people.
people telling stories to each other.
Yes, the movie moguls would go on to present an idealized vision of the American dream and even build an empire of their own.
In his book, An Empire of Their Own, Neil Gabler explains how these mostly Jewish immigrants came here. A lot of them had dysfunctional families, bad dads, and they made movies that reflected a more idealized scene, a scene that they would have liked to have seen.
And now, 100 years later, this empire creates thousands of hours of movies and TV shows every year. The production output from hundreds of companies, a cornucopia of human thought now on everyone's fingertips. Unfortunately, this cornucopia is but an illusion. 50 shades of gray, but little or no color.
It seems that we have a cornucopia of media with different views. But in reality, in spite of the fact that we've got different networks and different channels and maybe 100 different options on our television sets, if you look at the viewpoints of the mainstream of those channels anyway, they're all pretty much the same. So it's an illusion that we have a lot of choices. It's the same kind of an illusion when you look at political parties, for example. It's the feeling that, well, we've got the Republicans or the Democrats here in the United States, and that certainly is a choice, isn't it? And there are choices, of course, on viewpoints on a lot of minor issues, but on the really big issues like American sovereignty, the Federal Reserve System, which is a
Nobody.
cartel.
Jay-Z,
those
Beyonce.
issues are not a point of debate or a different point of view at all of these different news channels that we talk about.
Get the bag.
Oh, we've got all of our choices. Yeah, they'll talk about a lot of little things, but the really important issues are not even up for discussion.
Nope.
We have been trying for 10 years to address every outlet of the mainstream media has received our DVD, our petition calling for a new investigation with
25.
As we will more fully explore, certain issues, subjects, stories, and whole populations are now ignored, invalidated, vilified, and defamed every time we turn on a TV or watch a movie. In fact, from our teens to our 40s, the Hollywood movies now indoctrinate us with all manner of violence and propaganda. And then, from our 40s onward, the New York media riddles us with a narrow spectrum of anti-constitutional liberal news from almost every outlet. Let's take a look at the structure of the mainstream media and shed some light on why this happened, how it restricts our speech, and how it promotes a globalist agenda that's destroyed the American dream.
Yes, unfortunately, he's filming, so we wouldn't be able to do it within the next month.
Today's mainstream media is comprised of hundreds, if not thousands, of media companies. These media companies are engaged in the production of motion pictures, news broadcasts, TV programs, documentaries, and advertisements. As mentioned, one would think this cornucopia of media companies would be delivering a cornucopia of diverse news, entertainment, information, and ideas. After all, these media companies are peppered across the nation from coast to coast. Unfortunately, as widespread as they are, almost all of them are owned by basically 6 multinational corporations, what's known as conglomerates.
A conglomerate involves a situation in which one corporation will own a number of other corporations in different areas of economic activity. They will all be controlled by the head of the conglomerate.
These conglomerates are Comcast, Disney, Sony, Time Warner, 21st Century Fox, and Viacom. So, rather than having hundreds of independent media companies across the nation, we essentially have just 6.
Just 6.
Collectively, the 6 conglomerates thus
Number 6 again.
almost all
21.
of the programming in the United States.
Over the last 50 years, there's been a tremendous consolidation of the mass media. It's gone from over 100 companies to 6 major companies.
Between them, the CIA and the U.S. Department of Defense have had varying levels of input, from simply clarifying points for authenticity to actually writing parts of scripts on more than 1,800 movies and TV shows. When it comes to influencing filmmakers, shaping the story, the Pentagon is usually in a stronger negotiating position than the CIA. Because of the hardware at its disposal, it can shut down a movie before a scene is ever shot.
The Department of Defense is actually a much more powerful player in the entertainment industry for basically financial reasons.
So think of these rappers doing things with these police and how they tied with these entertainment companies.
Submarines, they have aircraft carriers, they have tanks, and they have the personnel to operate each of those things. So if a filmmaker wants to make a war movie, they often will approach the Department of Defense and basically ask to borrow that equipment. And the Department of
We don't accept any unsolicited materials. I'm getting a call on the other line. Can you hold for 1 second?
And speaking of careers, Hollywood is the only industry in the world that has enslaved its unions and guilds.
Any union or guild is supposed to serve the interests of workers, and it should be open to all workers. But that's not the way it is in Hollywood. In Hollywood, the unions and the guilds are basically under the domination of the studios. And by that, I mean that they act as the screening agents for the studios. The agents also act as screening agents for the studios, and this would include the agents that are signatory to the Writers Guild.
Sure, the unions and guilds are there to protect the workers' careers, but only a handful of workers, the ones that get to work on signatory productions.
Very difficult as to talk about who they actually serve. If you go up and audition for a film, if you're not in the Screen Actors Guild, your agents probably can't get you in the door. So you have to hope that you meet somebody along the line that says, listen, I want to give this kid a break. And then you get a job for a minimal amount of money, but you get your SAG card, your Screen Actors Guild card.
In effect, the unions and guilds sign contracts with the studios that result in a soft collusion that bars millions of workers from employment in the motion picture industry. These so-called signatory productions thus form a cartel of discrimination that screens out talented new actors, writers, crew members, and filmmakers with a sophisticated network of carefully designed catch-22s. For instance, production agreements stipulate that one can't work on a signatory production unless they're in the union or guild. But one can't get in the union or guild unless they have worked on a signatory production.
It's a catch-22 because you can't really do a union film if you're not in the union, and you're not allowed to really do non-union work, so it's very difficult. They keep a lot of people out. It's hard to earn your stripes and get that first break as a cinematographer or as an actor or whatnot, you know, in a movie or a TV show.
And ever try submitting a screenplay to Hollywood or one of its nasty agents? It's almost impossible unless you know someone. Yes, at the advice of their paranoid lawyers, the new Hollywood studio executives now accept no unsolicited screenplays from the thousands of talented authors and writers across the nation. And even if you call one of the studios, agents, or signatory production companies to query them for interest, by modern practice, they consider that very call unsolicited.
Well, it's just simply that we cannot accept unsolicited material.
In other words, they got to call you up and go, yo, James, we hear you got a whole bunch of scripts out there. Let's start sending these puppies in. We need some scripts here at ABC Studios. Unless you put out a best-selling book and you're a best-selling author, Hollywood is not going to solicit your screenplay.
Good luck getting anyone on the phone. You can't even talk to anyone at a studio unless you know the specific name of the person you're calling. Yes?
So this is the guy they're saying is going to be the representative for, what's his name? The Eric Holder guy. Now, as you can see, this guy's an actor. Television correspondent. That's what you got to look up stuff and do research. You know. You see all of his resume. He worked on the OJ case, so you know he already some bullshit. And here go the CNBC, CNN, Court TV. You know, all the agent networks, all of them. No Fox News, 666. Like, come on now. But it's just part one.